to Farm Aid again this year, and it was in Raleigh, North Carolina. Farm Aid is a fundraising festival concert for farmers across America. I'll be honest, going to this event these past couple years has taught me a lot about farming. Well, it's taught me that there's a lot of farms, and we need them to eat and live, and it also taught me you don't need to be a farmer yourself to join Farmers Only. How's that for an insider tip? Did you know that American farmers are out here sexy as hell, hiding out on all these ranches? Maybe that's why America's favorite dipping sauce is ranch dressing. You're going to hear all about me in North Carolina and my experience and how I stood out like my cousin Vinny down there, but right now I gotta talk about the music. Dave Matthews, John Mellencamp, and Willie Nelson are the musicians behind putting Farm Aid up and making it happen. There was a whole amazing lineup of other musicians: Margot Price, Brittany Spencer, Chris Stapleton, Sheryl Crow, but the closers are always those three. I'll start with Dave Matthews. Now, up until last year, I had never seen Dave Matthews, never mind his band. He doesn't bring his band to Farm Aid. He only brings this guitarist, Tim Reynolds, and the two of them just absolutely annihilate their guitars right in front of you. I was in the sweat seats. Sweat seats are the opposite of nosebleeds. I call them sweat seats because you can see the artist sweating from the comfort of your close-ass seats. Watching Dave Matthews up there, I wondered why I had never seen him live before Farm Aid. I've been missing all this epicness. Why? Then I remembered. A few rows in front of me, I saw, some might even call him a B-list celebrity, because live and in the flesh was grown-up Sid from Toy Story practically barking at Dave Matthews on the stage. You could tell this guy was a super fan. And as I watched him in his white tee and khaki pants and khaki cowboy hat, a Gap Kids country model, if you will, that's when I realized this is why Dave Matthews doesn't bring his whole band. His whole band would bring a bunch of Sids to Farm Aid. For every Dave Matthews band that loves Dave and appreciates his legendary guitar skills and voice and are just at his concerts for a good-ass time, there are 4 adult Sids in khaki cowboy hats. Now, Sid was harmless once Dave's set was over. His powers were no longer activated, and for that, I'm grateful. A while back, I banged a guy that looked like Dave Matthews, so for everyone spreading these rumors that I discriminate, we can put that to bed. Burp, 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 burp. That's my impression of me during every menial task I'm doing for the next month. John Mellencamp was next to hit the stage, and he 100% brought the Short King energy. I'm talking for the first time in my life, I was like, am I attracted to John Cougar? He was very much giving a mashup of Brad Pitt, Leonardo DiCaprio, and Jack Nicholson in the face, which I know isn't everyone's brand right now, okay, but these are my indoor thoughts, and it's up to me to be honest with you when reporting back from inside my brain. Somebody's got to tell you about John Mellencamp's swag in person. He also chews gum through his entire set without fear of a lodging. I can respect that because I'll chew gum for hours like I'm a fucking pink lady. Now listen, did the rhythm get all of the concert goers? Of course not. People were clapping to their own drum and not succumbing to the pressures of timing and a downbeat. Me, I was in cowboy boots and keeping rhythm, so every clapper behind me, which was a lot because as a reminder I was in the sweat seats, all those clappers behind me were looking to me for clap leadership. Willie Nelson and his cute little self closed out the show. He performs with his sons Lucas and Mike on each of his sides. And boy, oh boy, Lucas Nelson, I would love for him to take me out to dinner. And after dinner, we could talk about our futures and goals. And then maybe, just maybe, he could put a good idea inside me. Spark something genius. If you're curious to see if you'd want him to also fill you with genius, YouTube Lucas Nelson Texas Flood and thank me later. Willie Nelson is 89 and he said he had 98 albums. What a full life, huh? The life I love is making music with my friends. And that's quite literally how he spends his life. He manifested that shit. The three of them sat the whole time and they would do these subtle moves and be super in sync with each other. But if you weren't paying total attention, if you were just on your phone the whole time, you would have missed it. Just raw blood, sweat, and tears talent. And Willie Nelson was so cute. He is 1000% with it, so don't say anything about his age. I could see with my own eyes his fingers moving super fast, and he would blow these little kisses at the audience and do these itty-bitty waves, and it was the most precious thing I've ever seen. Farm Aid was incredible once again. Maybe I'll see you there next year, Cowboys. Sweat seats only, baby.
Duh.
Welcome to the Rocky Rundown, where you get to learn a little bit about my week. Party God Squad, hello! Did you have a good week? I sure hope so, and if it wasn't, mine was. Tuesday was the 10-year anniversary of the Stand Comedy Club being opened, and I was lucky enough to be at that party. It was Saturday night energy with some of New York's finest comedians on a Tuesday. Congratulations to the Stand, and I wish you many more years of funny. Then a day and a half later, I went down to Farm Aid. Like I said, it was in Raleigh, North Carolina, and I will always give you the realest that I can give you. So here's what it was like. It started off at the airport where I watched a woman in my airport terminal baby bird her breakfast apple, I'll tell you that much. Please elab. Well, what I mean is, I looked to my left, and an adult woman in my terminal traveling alone was chewing on her apple, then spitting the chewings into a plastic bag and holding the bag under her chin like a bib. During 2 simultaneous pandemic seasons, bruh. I don't gotta tell you, you've been around it. And maybe I don't know her story. I don't know why she was doing this, but surely this is not the way. Surely this is not the place to baby bird your breakfast. There has to be a rule against chomping on your fruit and then spitting it into a bag for safekeeping in an airport terminal, please. Isn't it against protocol? I didn't post the video I have because I think she wanted someone to record her and post it so she could go viral like the corn kid. But newsflash, sweetie, you ain't the corn kid and you don't got the right juice. Now make no mistake, I do have it on film, but it's only going on my Patreon. Almost no one was wearing a mask on the plane, and I get it. We want to feel invincible. People are vaxxed. Testing is not really a thing. Everyone wants their normal back, but I need to share the least common amount of air as possible with old apple bags. Hey universe, I am ready, baby. Scoop me out of this shit. And you know me, I love Mother Earth. I'm a tree hugger from way back, and I by no means am a Kardashian empathizer. Private jets are very harmful, yes, but motherfuckers are out here carrying their chewed fruit in doggy bags. I'd be lying if I said I didn't wish I wasn't under the same roof, sharing the same sky air with goddamn Johnny Appleseed, okay? In that moment, I wished I was in a private jet more than anything. Private jetting right the fuck out of there. I had to mask up on that flight, even if I was only one of 5 people doing it. Bumpy-ass flight, too. I know the pilot was from New York the way he was driving. He was driving like he was crossing the FDR in a dirt bike right before rush hour. Relax, my guy, with the turbulence. We're just in a box in the sky, and if you keep rocking this thing, the whole plane may have a lap full of Granny Smiths. You catch my drift, Howard Hughes? Slow the fuck down. I was with John in our hotel room, and we really took advantage of our hotel the first night there. I did the gym, he went to the lobby Starbucks, we both went in the jacuzzi and the pool, and there was no one else there but us. Our own private pool room. There was also this balcony area where you could go and just think. I did stand out there alone and think. And you know what? It was really good thinking. We also ordered Denny's in bed and watched bad reality hotel TV and drank wine and called down to the front desk an ungodly amount of times. At one point I had fallen asleep and then woken up to John calling me to let me know that our Denny's had arrived because I had passed out before Denny's got there. A pre-Denny's nap. I think my dream vacation for the moment is a 5-day stay in a hotel unbothered. I can use the amenities, order takeout, and be cozy in a king size by 9:38 p.m. Am I tired? I think I'm tired, but this is relatable. On top of being tired, I'm also flirtatious by nature, but I'm used to flirting with guys who live in the Northeast. Quick on the uptake, you dig? I was not met with much sparring down in Raleigh. I needed a little va-va-voom, and I was met with a lot of va-va-dull comebacks. Don't get me wrong. They could, sort of kick it off, but there were no volleys. And I'm over here shooting ace material only for them to hit their balls straight into the net. Disappointing, because I've always wanted to be swept away by a nice southern guy. We gotta be careful with these men, though. Look at Adam Levine, and honestly, I don't want to get into what happened with him because I'm not surprised by what happened to him. Why is everyone so shocked? I'm not defending him, let's not get it twisted, but why does everyone act so shocked? I genuinely want to know. You don't know Adam Levine. People want to act shocked so they can talk shit about his situation. When we can admit as a species that when celebrities cheat, it makes you feel a little bit better about your own world, then we've identified the problem and we can begin the process of evolving as a whole towards a kinder and more generous future. But Rocky, they're celebrities. They signed up for this. They signed up to entertain us through art. But Rocky, you were just ragging on the spit apple lady. That's different. And do as I say, not as I do, people. But Rocky, she was pregnant. How could he? But how could you? She's pregnant. Protect her privacy by not feeding into yet another cheating scandal. If you care so much about her pregnancy, stop fanning the fire. A lot of people out there will eat someone else's chewed up apple scraps before passing over their cell phones with ease. So if you are one of those people, why don't you stop fanning the fire, huh? Stedman is where it's at, man. He keeps his head down and doesn't cause any fuss for Oprah. And he's got the shoulders of a man who lays it down on the regs. And Oprah has the wobble of a woman who takes pipe on the regs. All I'm saying is next time I go to Raleigh, the Cowboys better be ready to volley. I did have a semi-gross driver at one point who said some weird shit. I had the window down and I was sitting in the front seat and the air smelled so fresh and manure-y. And I took a big whiff. And I said, "Smell that, John? That's country." And the driver said, "If I took you back to my land, whew, those smells." A legit mumble through the rest of that sentence. Do me a favor, creepy foghorn leghorn, and keep the rest of that sentence inside your mouth, shall we? And he did, because, like I said, all mumbles, no volleys. I'm sure I just missed out on all the North Carolina men that are good at flirting. Perhaps I was surrounded by a lot of out-of-towners. A big congrats to the Bowie State football team. I met them at my hotel, and they were the sweetest bunch of fellas, and they won on Saturday, so shout out to them. And Raymond Boone on the team, future pick for your fantasy lineup. You heard it here first. Other shout outs, Cindy, John, Ricky, Renee, Lori, Jeff the limo driver, Morgan, Jack, B, and Vaughn from Kentuckiana Backyard Farms. Before I intro my guest this week, I just want to say her story takes place in Puerto Rico, and if you've been paying attention, they were hit with a massive hurricane, Hurricane Fiona. I spoke with past member of our Party God Squad, Suni Reyes, about some resources where donations could be made. These resources get the money right to the source safely, and I will leave that link in my own link tree. It really does take a village to come together at times like this, and we all gotta look out for each other, so hop on over to my link tree and remember that every little bit helps. My guest this week is comedian Kristen González. Kristen's wild word was cuckoo, so let's all get cuckoo together, baby. If you haven't done so already, please like, share, subscribe to the podcast. You can follow me at Wild Nights with Rocky on TikTok and Instagram, at Wild Nights Pod on Twitter. If you want to watch extended interviews with all of my guests, please subscribe on YouTube. You can support the show for $2 or $5 a month by hopping over to my Patreon. A big thank you to everyone who's written and everyone who will write a review on Apple Podcasts. It really does make a difference. And now, please enjoy my Wild Nights conversation with Kristen González.
Kristen, welcome. Thank you for doing the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
I'm very excited to have you. So I think we have been I wanted to get you on the show because I feel like we've been in each other's orbit. You're a Pit person. I see you do a lot of sketch comedy at the Pit, and I spent years previously doing improv at the Pit, which is an awesome community, an awesome place to do comedy. How do you like it over there?
It's been great. The Pit definitely gave me a lot of opportunities. When I was on a Pit house team there prior to COVID, we were doing a lot of shows all the time. And really, I got to write a lot. And that's a new love that I found in comedy. So since then, I've totally kept that with me. I have a sketch team that I perform with called the Golden Gals. And we do a lot of music parodies to hip hop songs. So it's been really fun.
That's awesome. That's so cool. Yeah, no, I mean, I felt like I didn't even realize when I was at the Pit what awesome sketch comedy was there. I would see some shows, but I never even thought I should try out for a sketch team or anything like that. And the sketch work that's been coming out of there is just incredible.
Yeah, it's really been great. I've been doing a lot of also with Old School Sketch Show too, which is another great sketch program that they do once a month where you do pitch to stage in a week. So when we came back from COVID, getting back into the swing of performing live, Old School was really great to get back into the theater scene and doing live comedy with. And then also another sketch show that I was a part of was Bragging Rights.
Oh, yeah, what's that?
Yeah, so that's a sketch show where there's two teams, a blue team and a red team. And basically we do sketches against each other. And then the audience votes for who wins. And there's a trophy and it's a whole event. Yeah. So that's really fun. I did a couple of those shows also as well. And I might be doing one in the coming months for November. They have me on the bill. So I'll keep you guys posted on that.
Oh, yeah, please do. Please do. I love the idea of that because comedy is so subjective. So to watch a show and just see what makes certain people laugh and what doesn't and who's going to vote for what, that just seems like it could get a little cuckoo.
Yes. Oh God, yes.
So, so Kristen's wild word was cuckoo. So Kristen, take us into your wild night story, cuckoo.
Okay, so this story is about when I went on vacation with my sister and her two best friends. We went to Puerto Rico earlier this summer in June. It was for my sister's birthday. And it was crazy because I ended up spending 2.5 weeks in Puerto Rico and I wasn't supposed to spend that much time there. But the way it ended up turning out was my mom was attending some salsa festival that she wanted me to go with her to. And then his birthday was right after that. So I spent a week with my mom and my cousins and family friends. And then once they left, then I did part 2 with my sister and her girlfriends. Wow. So it's I had a crazy vacation scene happening in Puerto Rico for 2.5 months, for 2.5 weeks.
Yeah, that's a long time to spend, but it's a good amount of time. Do you feel being on vacation that long, you really tune into the real you?
Yes, definitely. It's so nice also too, because I was very fortunate that we got to spend, we were staying at an Airbnb on the beach in Isla Verde. And that was so great because it's every morning I would wake up, I would walk the beach, I would meditate, I would do yoga. It was just really great. And then even the beach even played into my wild night, so to speak, as that's going to come up. So funny enough, you would think that the week with my mom was low key, but it wasn't at all. She brings me to this salsa festival where this DJ Tony Touch was performing, who's a local here to New York. He's a Puerto Rican DJ. Yeah. He was doing a set over there, and then they had the Black Eyed Peas performing as yes.
Oh my God, Fergie Ferg.
Yes. So it was literally so crazy because it was all people my mom's age. So when the Black Eyed Peas came on, nobody really gave a fuck. Yeah. So me and my cousin and my other friend, us three, we rushed to the stage and we got such an awesome concert with maybe I want to say 50 people max that were my age, millennials and Gen Z.
Yeah.
because like the older people were like, oh, the salsa part is over. We don't really care. And like,
they don't even know they got royalty in front of them.
exactly. So that was really fun. And then, so then I had, attended that with my mom. So then my mom left. And then my sister came with her roommate and her roommate's best friend from Seattle. Okay. And it was like a girls' trip for her birthday type of deal. Mm-hmm. And it was really fun. And so we went, so I had stayed in the same Airbnb complex, but I was on a different floor. So that I was really fortunate for too, because I was in like the same area. So I was like, by the time they came, I'm like, oh, we can go here, we can go there. I already know where to go. Yeah. So there's this area in Puerto Rico that's very notorious for people to go out. And it's called La Placita. And that stands for plaza in Spanish. So it's this area, which is just like a strip of bars, restaurants, clubs. They even have little like bar kiosks and people are just dancing in the street.
Oh
and
my God, that sounds so fun.
Yeah. It's like literally just like a riot from like Thursday night, Friday night, and Saturday night. I would say are the prime nights that it gets pretty wild in there. So, so I knew like they were going to enjoy this. Like, we need to go here. Yeah. And, also coincidentally, I had met the night before I was in La Placita on Thursday night. I'm walking in the street with my friend, and who do I see in the street? AOC is partying in La Placita. Oh, yes. And nobody knew who she was because she just was there hanging out, and like she's Puerto Rican, so low key she looks like everybody else. Right. So like literally nobody was acknowledging her. So I like go to my friend, I'm like, oh my God. So I'm like, you know what? I'm going to go say something to her because like, obviously, like, when does this ever happen? So I remember another Pitison, Simone Norman, was her campaign manager.
Yeah.
Or like,
I remember that too, actually. Yeah.
Yeah. Like back in the day. So I go up to her and I go, are you who I think you are? And then she like looks at me and she goes, and she doesn't say anything. And I go, oh my God, I just want to say we're from New York. We're from Bushwick. And we think that you're our president. And she's like, oh, she's like, thank you so much. And then I'm like, can we take a picture with you? And she's like, of course. Yeah. And it was just so cool. And she didn't even have like any bodyguards or anything. She was just like with some one dude that looked like her brother and like 3 chicks just like chilling low key. So like it was mad cool vibes. Yeah. So like already I was like, I already knew the Placita had like good energy from the night before. So I really wanted to bring my sister and her friends for their birthday like the next day. Yeah. So that's night, it's my sister's birthday. So we go to La Placita and it is just pandemonium in there. And this little strip where I was mentioning with all the kiosks where people are drinking and just like hanging out in the street, cars would just like go through this avenue, and then people would just get on top of the cars and start dancing. And like the cars are just honking and everybody's just like having a great time. Like they don't care. So I'm just thinking, if you're a driver, I'm just going to go down La Placita for like an ego boost so I can have like a smile on my face. All these people are going, because I'm like, you intentionally going down this block, you know you're gonna have to stop.
You know what's up.
So I decided, so we get there like right before it's midnight, where it's my sister's birthday, and I'm like, I have some E. Why don't we all drop E? It's my sister's birthday. Yeah. So we're all like, all right, like go team. We're
time out. Because I need to know, did you get it over there or did you BYOE?
I BYOE'd.
Oh my goodness. That's my girl. There we go.
I bought, honestly, etc. with me. I have this little Golden Girls mint case that I put in my makeup bag. So I put like couple of pills of E in there, a couple of drops of acid. I have some mushroom pills. It's just,
I love you.
It's just so funny. It's funny you say that, coincidentally enough. So when I went with my mom to Black Eyed Peas, they were doing like literally a cavity search through security. So I had bought like a blunt and that Golden Girls case that I had. They're like, open your bag. And then I had to do like a magic sleight of hand trick with the blunt and put it under my phone case so they wouldn't see. And she's like, open the Golden Girls case. And I'm like, oh my God. And I had the E in there, but I didn't have all the other drugs. So I open it, but it's E. So it looks like a mint. So she's like, oh, you're good, mommy. And let me go. And I was like, wow. They literally like did not. And my cousin was like, it's probably like to see if you like were bringing a large quantity or something. Like a
passing around.
Yeah, exactly. So back to La Placita night. We all take the E. So then it hits midnight and so my sister goes, yo, to like me and my friends. And she's like, starts pointing to the street where the cars are. And she's just heading that way because she wants to go dance on top of a car.
Right.
So literally
she knows the deal by now.
Exactly. She knows what she's already seen. She understands the assignment. So,
yeah.
So literally she's like leading the way. It's like a huge, crazy crowd. So I remember it was Bad Bunny, La Safiera is the song. And like, it's like this crazy song that has all these different levels and like intonations. And like, it does like this, like stop, like this Jaws thing where it goes, and then when that beat drops, you better twerk your ass off. Yeah. And then my fucking sister, she went nuts. Literally, we have so much video of her going crazy on top of this car. Like, and then it was so funny too, because it was my like knowing my sister was like her moment. Dudes were trying to dance with her. She fucking did the little like slide and like went like this to like be like, nope, it's not your moment. It's my moment tonight. I'm not grinding on your ass.
Yeah. Sorry, buddy.
It was like two dudes. She like definitely like dubbed, and we have it on camera. And then there was this group of guys next to us, and they had a portable hookah that they were blowing in the street. So then we started talking to these guys that have the hookah, and I'm like, yeah, it's my sister's birthday. And they're like, oh, cool. So like we were all talking, and then the E starts like hitting. So Kayla's like, all right, we need to go to a club. We need to find some more music. We have to dance. Yeah, I need to dance. So we go, so like while we're walking to the other club, we start talking to the guys, and I start talking to one of them, and I'm like, oh, what's your name? Like all this stuff. And so he goes, he tells me his name is Fuad. And then he goes, oh, I took a lot of video of your sister and stuff. He's like, why don't you give me your number so I can send you the videos? And I'm just like, I didn't even realize what he was doing there. Maybe I was too on the drugs at that moment, but I'm like, thinking back to it now, like, okay, that was very smooth.
Yeah.
So we didn't even, so then he was like, he had to go live with his friends. So then me and my sister and her friends, we went to this next club called Tulum. And which is you guys know, it's a city in Mexico. That's really known for beautiful beaches, really, posh. So in there, they tried to make it seem like that, but like everybody's just in there getting lit. And in the room, in the club, it's like very like beach style. And in the back, they have this room that's all Andy Warhol Keith Haring walls.
Oh, okay.
Like the artist Keith Haring. So literally, I have to send you pictures. It's so cool. Yeah. So literally, like it's like this club, this room that has a stripper pole in the middle and it has its own bar. And then but it's like so trippy because it's literally the artist Keith Haring inspired. The walls, it's floor to ceiling.
It's beautiful, yeah.
Yeah, it's so really cool. So we go in this room, and then it's another part 2 party. So there's like this gay dude that starts battling my sister on the pole. I get on the pole at one point. Like everybody gets on. Then there was a fucking wedding party there. My sister outdid the fucking bride because when going on the pole, I was like, this pole is insane.
I have to ask, did you lose the guy at this point that wanted to email you or message you the photos? Is he gone by now?
Yeah, so he had to go because his friends wanted to go to another club. Okay. So we were just like, yeah, well, you already have my, I didn't think of anything. I was like, yeah, send me the videos. Yeah,
exactly. Yeah.
So, but it was funny though, too, because from the moment that we had saw him and his friends, like, and we did hookah in the street to the moment where he had gotten my number, like, I would say a lapse of a half hour passed because we were like, oh, we need some sustenance. We went to go get like empanadas down the block. Yeah. And like, we went to go, and then somebody told us that there was these really great mojitos down the block, that it's like the original mojito. So we like did a little exploring for it. And then I thought it was just really interesting. Like when we came back to that area, we saw them again because it was just like, that was like some moments had passed. But then he was like, I'm out. So yeah, we hadn't seen each other later the rest of the night.
Gotcha.
So then so after we're at the Tulum spot and where she's out doing all the
bride and everybody,
the wedding party, they're asking, we're going at the nuts and stuff. We go hop to another bar, then we go get hookah at this hip hop club that's like very New York, and all they're playing is like trap music. Yeah. So then we hang out there, and then that was a whole vibe. And then somebody tells us when we're at the hip hop club that the afties are at, which afties equals after hours, are in Calle Luisa, which is a town that's like 10 minutes from there, and the clubs go till 7 a.m. So when everything shuts down here,
You got
go
another
to
spot.
Calle Luisa. That's where you want to go. So after that, so we decided to go take an Uber to go to Calle Luisa. I ended up, I remember flirting with the Uber driver and being like, "Oh, can you pick us up at 7?" Because I wanted to make sure that it wasn't going to be hard for us to find like an Uber at that
No, of
hour.
course not. You were thinking ahead. You have to.
Yeah. So it was funny too, because I was even saying, "Oh, do you want to come party with us too?" So then that way I could keep tabs on him. And he's like, "Oh, let me go meet up my friend." And I'm like, "Yeah, my friend, she's single too. This one." I was like trying to like be a little align everybody. So then he drops us off, and we're in Calle Luisa, and this is, you can tell it's not as it's a more like local part of town.
Subdued,
so
yeah.
Yes. So there's strips of clubs and stuff in Calle Luisa, but it's, you know, the bouncers have guns on their on their
All right.
on their belts. So I was like, okay, let's definitely not separate. I was like telling them when we got out of the Uber.
You got to stick together on this one. Yeah.
Exactly. So we ended up partying there, and then I remember like my sister's friends, like once we got to the first club in Calle Luisa, they like stood with us for like a drink, and then like, all right, we're like dropping like flies. Like it was like 5:30 at this point.
Yeah, the E's like wearing off.
Yeah. But my sister's like, it's her birthday. She's like, I want to stay out. So I'm like, all right, fine. I'll stay out with you a little more. So they leave, but thankfully, like we're really close to our Airbnb. So I stay with her until the afties close at like 7 a.m. And like there was just nothing but like fine dudes in there, but none of them knew English. So every time we were trying to talk, we were trying our best, but we would only get so far.
Yeah. It was like the body language was there, the eye contact was there, but it was a language barrier.
Yeah, and then we had met these dudes, and then they were trying to take us to El Campo, which is like in the countryside, and I'm like, bro, it's 7 a.m. We are not going over there.
Yeah, hell no.
Like, yeah,
not without my Uber driver.
Yeah, exactly. So then I was like, all right, sis, it's a bus. Let's be safe. Let's just go back to the Airbnb. You know what I mean?
It's a wrap.
So she's like, all right, bet. Like you're right. So we go into the Airbnb, and Sarah and Casey, my sister's friends, they're still up, and they're like, they're not asleep yet either, because obviously we've been partying all night. So then I'm like, why don't we, so one of them says, it wasn't me, I think it was maybe my sister, she's like, let's go like walk on the beach and watch the sunrise. Like
Beautiful.
we have the beach right here, we might as well. So we're all just like tripped out at like 7:30, I want to say 8 a.m. We like walked the beach as the sun rose, and then we all just like sat in a line, I remember, and like everybody was just quiet, and like we fell asleep for like 2 hours on the beach. Like I remember I just put on my headphones, I think Casey was doing yoga, and my sister was journaling, and we just like, that's how we ended the night. Just literally, I woke up and I had a sunburn on my back because I fell asleep in the sun. We're like, okay,
we weren't that prepared.
yeah. But I was just like, that was really nice. Like, what a way to like end the night falling asleep on the beach. So that was my wild night. And I had a really great trip. The night in there, we had another crazy wild night because my sister loves throwing kickbacks. So like that's her thing. And
what is it, throwing a kickback?
So a kickback is it's smaller than a party, but it's bigger than a hangout. That's the way it's described. So
okay. I love new party lingo. So, so smaller than a party, but bigger than a hangout. I think I throw a few kickbacks then. That is great. Okay. So she threw a kickback.
So she was like, our last night in Puerto Rico, let's throw a kickback and, like just like have everybody come because we have this Airbnb on the beach. So we threw the kickback on the beach and everybody invited somebody. So I invited that guy that I had met at La Placita.
With the pictures and the video.
With the pictures and the hookah. So he came with the hookah again to the kickback.
We love a prepared man.
And at one point, somebody broke out poppers and there was a tutorial. There was a tutorial on the beach of poppers. And then I ended up like having like bonding with the guy that had bought the hookah, and he's now my boyfriend. So coincidentally, Yes.
God.
Yeah, so we've been dating going on 3 months, and he lives in Massachusetts and I live in New York.
Mhm.
And we met in Puerto Rico in La Placita, and out of my wild night, I ended up having a significant other out of it.
Oh
So
my God.
yeah.
Yay. That's really fucking cool. And that's such a good story. Like I was feeling for him a little because he was shooting his shot. He did the videos. He was like being really slick. But I was like, there's no way. Maybe a fling, maybe a one night stand in Puerto Rico. There's no way I thought that that was going to be the outcome.
Yeah.
Oh my
Um,
God. Do you get to go up and visit him?
yeah, so it's his birthday on Wednesday, so I'm actually gonna drive up tomorrow. But he was here this past weekend
Mm-hmm.
because it's so close. Like it's
Yeah, of
like
course.
not it's like a 3 hour drive, not even because he's in Worcester, which is a
Uh-huh.
little further. So yeah, so we've just been doing that, and it's funny because I went to San Diego. I think I told you 2 weeks ago.
Mhm.
He met me in San Diego for a few days. So we
Yeah.
just like make the distance work because we both are really malleable with our jobs and we can
Yeah.
travel. So it's like not an issue for us. So
And
yeah.
honestly, sometimes in New York City is you see people so infrequently because everyone's so busy that that shit feels like a long distance relationship. So it really doesn't make a difference, and especially with how much we can like facially communicate now. So that's really cool. Good for you.
Thanks.
It's always when you least expect it, right?
Yes, absolutely. I was like, this is coming out of nowhere. Like,
Yeah. So I have a bunch of questions and comments, and just I love that night is just one of those nights that is obviously unforgettable. And now we got it on the podcast. But not that you didn't have video footage from your man already, but now
ah!
but first of all, I have to go back to the Black Eyed Peas. With the Black Eyed Peas, you said it was only about 50 people. Did you get to interact with them at all? Did you get to talk to any of them? Were you like, Fergie, well, I am, hello?
No, so it was an actual like concert hall, like
Okay.
like I would say like when they do the Central Park concerts or like
Yeah, raised stage.
yeah, it was one of those race stage type of situations. But it was just so I think also too, I'm very used to going to concerts in New York where
Yeah.
everybody was pushing up against each other at Brooklyn Avant-Garde and just like everything's just so like claustrophobic. Like here in Puerto Rico, everyone's just chilling. They have people were sitting on the steps by the little lake. Like there was there was a pool. People were sitting on by the pool and like pool chairs. And then like when they saw the song that they wanted to dance to, they would get up. But like nobody was, so I think that's why with the vibe was it was very like low key like that. So, but I was just like, yeah, I was right in front of the stage, but I didn't have to get any one-on-one time with them. And then it was funny on the way out, they were leaving and people were bum rushing them to take autographs, but I saw them taking pictures and stuff. But it's like, I'm not gonna go over there. There's like 20 people on top of them. I don't need to be the 21st. Like
maybe if this was 15 years ago, I would be all over
yes.
That. But now it's like it's enough. It's
exactly. If I was in high school, that's a different story.
Different story. I would be bum rushing the stage. And I remember seeing them in concert. Do you remember when Justin Timberlake and Christina Aguilera went on the Justified strip tour?
Yes.
Black Eyed Peas were their opening act.
Wow. Yeah. So, that's so cool.
If anybody is wondering how long Black Eyed Peas have been around, it's a hot minute. Minute. Also, the poppers on the beach. Now, I have friends that swear by poppers. And one time in my whole life, I tried them because they were like, you have to try poppers. You have to try poppers. And I was like, I don't think so. They're like, no, it's so cool. They're so great. And I tried it. And I was like, this just smells like nail polish remover to me. I did not like it for pleasure.
Yeah. I mean, poppers is definitely an acquired. I would say drug or.
Yeah.
I don't even know. The treat. Yes.
Yeah. For kids?
Is it for kids?
No. But it's acquired, I think.
Yeah. But it's funny because I wasn't familiar with poppers until I was hanging around my sister and her friends more. Mm-hmm. They're more, I would say, expert on poppers.
Yeah.
And it's funny because it's an import in Puerto Rico. So poppers over there were $35 US. Here in New York, you get it at the bodega for $5, $10 tops.
Wow.
So we were over there, we were like, what do you mean it's $35 at the sex shop? Like, and they don't even have it at bodega. Like you have to go get it at like a special place in Puerto Rico. So But it was the same exact bottle that bottles that you have here in the US over there. And they
Just so much more expensive.
marked up. Yeah. So, but yeah, I would say like until I was properly shown how to do it, I didn't understand. And it's very quick. I'm not trying to endorse it or anything here.
Quickly turning into like here's the pros of poppers. I'm gonna break it down for you right now. I wasn't a fan at first, but let me tell you, if you get the right teacher and you get the right nostril, this is the drug for you. $35 you ever spent in Puerto Rico.
Exactly.
That is so funny.
But yeah, it is funny though too, because my boyfriend didn't know anything about poppers, and then now like we'll occasionally like here and there, and that say we always say like, "Oh, you're so cuckoo," and that's why I said that.
Oh yeah. Oh, see, I just assumed because the night was like crazy cuckoo. I was like, oh, but cuckoo is the word.
So we call each other cuckoo, like, oh, you're being cucucito. Like we like still say to each other. So that's one of the words we use. So, and we say poppers are definitely cuckoo.
Definitely cuckoo. Cuckoo for Cocoa Puffs. Well, that is actually and absolutely a wild night. I loved it so much. I love a party girl. You know what I'm saying? Like
Yes.
it takes one to know one, and I love a party girl. Do you get to Puerto Rico often? If your mom is there for a salsa festival, I feel like that was probably not the first time that she's gone down there for that kind of activity, right?
Yeah, so it's funny, this year I've been going to Puerto Rico a lot. Coincidentally, I'd taken her for her birthday in February. We were there for a week and a half, and then me and my boyfriend are talking now about going in October for the first weekend in October, because his friends want to go, because we were talking about it. So I might be there in a few weeks again. So this will be
beautiful there.
Yeah. And I was even saying to my mom, I want to buy property out there just because I think it would be a great investment. Rather than just spending Airbnbs all the time. You know, even if I get like a studio or something, just to have something there, you know?
And then you can make that your Airbnb if you wanted to when you're not there. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
Yeah, Puerto Rico is so cool. It's so beautiful. One of the things that I liked about when I went there, the liquor stores, you can just have at least the one I went to, you could sit down and like drink in the liquor store.
Oh, really?
Bar stools and stuff. Yeah. And it wasn't even that fancy. It wasn't like some big fancy liquor store. It was nice. It was fine. But it was like they had a whole section. So once you buy the alcohol, you could just sit there and drink it right in the store.
Wow. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
I didn't know that. That's cool.
Like, oh, that's kind of fun. And it's really funny that you ran into Queen AOC, because I was thinking about that the other day. I was walking down the street in Queens and I was thinking about AOC, and I was like, I just would love to randomly run into her. I just would love to just be like, I love everything you do. You're an icon. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And you just had that opportunity, but you had the opportunity in a place where it's like she could kind of let her guard down a little bit, because if you're recognizing her in Puerto Rico, she knows it's the real deal, especially being from New York.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, it was really, and nobody knew, even after I said bye to her, who I was talking to. Like, I was like, I hope I didn't like blow up her spot. And I was like, fine. I was like, whew, thank God.
Yeah. Because for all you know, people could think, oh, they're just like old friends running into each other. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You never know.
Yeah, for sure.
That is really cool. And I'm glad you get out there a lot. Now, so you're busy globe trotting all over Puerto Rico, checking out the entire club scene, making a map. So when I go to Puerto Rico, I'm going to contact you and be like, okay, tell me exactly where to go.
Yes.
What is going on with you in New York? Do you have anything exciting coming up show wise that you're doing or working on?
So right now I
know you said the November show was coming up.
Yeah, so I have some shows in the works right now. Things are pending. But I think for me, on the front of things coming up, I just check my social media and stuff, because I have a lot of things in the works. So I'm usually posting content there.
Yeah.
And things of that sort. So yeah.
Awesome. I want to ask you, because you're a born and bred New Yorker. I want to ask you, because people don't realize, I think maybe they're more so realizing it now, but I think people around the country don't realize how funny New Yorkers in general are. People come to New York City to be funny and like try out comedy and stuff, but people who are born and raised in New York are just, they have a different kind of spirit, and a different kind of comedy inside them that's just natural, I think. When did you kind of realize, oh, I'm really funny, but I'm funny where I want to take it to the next level?
I would say, so when I was little, my parents used to watch this, John Leguizamo used to have his own sketch show on Fox 5 called House of Buggin'.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to watch it with them all the time. And that's where my love of comedy definitely started, because I would always mimic the characters. And one of the characters I used to do all the time was, was called Koji or something.
Mm-hmm.
And it was this guy who would just like go like this and like do this like weird affectation with his face. I'm really not sure what it was, but I would do it for like family parties and like my parents, and they would just crack up. And I remember from that moment, I'd be like, I'm going to be funny. I'm a comedian. I literally was like, I want to make people laugh. And then I would just watch SNL all the time. And those were the days with like Sherry O'Terry and like Molly Shannon and like Will Ferrell and like, you know, and so I would just be growing up watching like Superstar and like The Perfect Cheer and like Tommy Boy, and Chris Farley, R.I.P., is like one of my favorite comedians to this day.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's just like that. I think that's where it all kind of like started and brewed up, and where my love for comedy really began.
That's awesome. That's really awesome. Well, I'm glad you get to pursue it. I'm glad you get to pursue it in the greatest city in the world. So, Kristen, give everyone your social media where they can follow you, find you, and see you be funny.
Sure. So you can follow me on I have Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, all that stuff. It's the same name. It's Chris A. Gon, and that's a shortened form of my name. So that's KRISAYGON, and for Kristen González.
Amazing. Well, thank you so much for doing the podcast. I'm not kidding. I am going to hit you up for Puerto Rico travel tips.
Oh, please do.
And maybe, you know, I'll hit you up for some like Puerto Rico travel tips on finding a man when there. Look for the guys with hookah and cameras. That's what I do. Just put a sign on. Do you have hookah? Do you have a camera? Kristen, thank you so much for doing the podcast. This was a lot of fun. We'll talk soon. All right.
Okay, sounds good.
All
Thanks.
Right, bye. Yeah,
bye.
Bye.